At last, my face is complete again. Hello dear viewers, today in one of the final days of the 201st decade, ooh, clever stuff I did there, huh? I'd like to talk to you about one of my favorite game series of all time, that is to say, Metroid, and specifically Metroid Prime, which, if you aren't familiar with it, looks like this. This is the third and final game of the trilogy, starring Samus Aran on the GameCube and later the Wii. Samus, of course, is an intergalactic bounty hunter who spends most of her time with a cannon on one of her arms, looking like that. You can't see that. Shooting space pirates, and of course, tied to her Metroids, which are these jellyfish-like things, except they don't have tentacles, just little bitty claws, and they latch onto your head and suck all your life out of you. And that's generally very bad manners, but there's nothing you can do about it. They're one of the space pirates' most advanced favorite research species, and they're also, unfortunately, one of the most dangerous species in the universe. And so most of it rolls around Samus going around fighting and killing them. Now, the Metroid Prime, I mean, I don't know, it's weird. It's like Superman. It would be if Smallville suddenly started calling itself Kryptonite, based on Superman's greatest enemy, or say Lex Luthor. But there it is. And Metroid Prime itself refers to a particular Metroid, which the queen of all Metroids ends up becoming an evil version of Samus after it swipes her power suit. Oh, retroactive spoiler alert. Further spoiler alerts in the future because it's going to get absolutely insane. Well, I try not to talk too long about this because my first take actually went over 12 minutes and, well, upload limits, right? One day I'll make a partner and then YouTube will go, oh, fine, I'll upload as long as you want. Anyway, so here's some other amusing things. Firstly, Samus Aran is a woman, and that's not so much amusing as it's pretty cool, actually, because the first game was way back, I think, either early 90s or late 80s, when this sort of thing really wasn't approved of. And at the end of the game, the first game, if you got enough missile tanks and enough health expansions, then she would actually take her suit off, and you go, holy crap, a woman! Or let's take her helmet off, and you go, oh yeah, it's a woman. Because, you know, up until the point, the name Samus Aran happens to be rather gender neutral, so you're worried about things like, is she a man, is she a woman, is it a robot, is it a mouse working the controls, you know, like, a la Pinky and the Brain, only probably a bit more serious. And so, the second thing, this is in conjunction with the first thing, is that she has a move called Screw Attack. Happens to be rather famous. Basically, now consider for a second an attractive female character, because she is pretty damn hot when she takes the suit off. Consider the idea of a female character having a move called Screw Attack. Okay, now that you're done with that, it actually involves her flipping around the place with an energy field around her that kills everything. Everything, literally everything. Nothing that touches it survives. Okay, maybe giant bosses, but that's it. So there's that. Now, the series itself has a very compelling storyline, in addition to all the fun gameplay. One more thing about Samus that makes her unique compared to most first-person shooter people is the ability to turn into a ball about a meter across. And I have to wonder, she basically curls up in the shell's clamp on the other side of her as she goes rolling around. And I have to wonder, how does she steer, let alone see? And when she pops out, because of all the rolling around, is she dizzy? She is kind of like, and then space pirates go bam, 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 and she dies. So, I don't know. I suppose you could ask her, except she doesn't exist. Right, anyway, the first game, she's investigating at a space station which has gotten broken, rather suspiciously. She ends up finding out, oh, space pirates are up to their nasty tricks again. Meets Ridley, the biggest spaz in the history of video games. He's basically a mechanical pterodactyl who screams at you roughly every half a millisecond. Ah! over and over again. It's almost like Godzilla, except, well, possibly more entertaining, because you usually don't shoot Godzilla as Samus around and kick his butt. Usually Godzilla's supposed to win. Anyway, Ridley being Ridley says, I'm going to really screw you up, and then slams Samus into a wall, or possibly something else does that. No, blows up the station, and that slams Samus into another wall, and that makes her lose all her abilities. She goes down to the planet and finds that they really screwed things up, and discovers this annoying substance, this blue, glowing radioactive substance called Phazon, which, ow, you step in it, and it stings like crazy. And it's sort of the Deus Ex Machina of the series, in that, like Kryptonite in Smallville, it mutates everything and makes it evil. So, she spent most of the game trying to avert the plans of the pirates, get, you know, cool things, a grapple beam, magnetic ball ability, that sort of thing. And then, she goes and fights the Metroid Prime for the first time, and by this time she has acquired a suit that makes her immune to Phazon, and at the end of the fight, the Metroid Prime goes and steals it. And then at the end of the first game, if you've gotten all the expansions, you get to see, well, you get to see with the helmet off, and then you get to see the Metroid, a black hand climbing out of the wreckage of the Metroid Prime's body, which I'm thinking, oh shit. The second game, is a rather strange one compared to the other two. It involves Samus going onto a planet that's been split into two different dimensions, dark and light, by a Phazon meteorite. She spends most of that game going around. Instead of, like in the first game, you have a lava zone, an ice zone, a ruins area, and an industrial mining complex. It seems to be pretty standard Nintendo fare, right? Now, in this one, you have a jungle swamp zone, or and then a desert zone. No, reverse those two. But anyway, and then you also have a basically giant cybernetic complex. It's basically a giant, which is basically, I like the word giant. I don't know why. Possibly want to be one day. Anyway, a huge supercomputer that's basically a building. And then of course she faces Dark Samus, which is from the last game, Metroid Prime. I told you, spoiler alert, quit giving me that look. The Dark Samus from the last game. And it fights her a bunch of times, and then she manages to get all the energy from one planet, from the dark planet to the light planet, so the dark planet goes poof and disappears. I think it would be a bit more complicated than that, but, well, let's not worry about it, it's a game. And then the third game ties it all up, and even ties it into the original series with a really, really, really cool villain. Yes, Dark Samus again, but eventually Mother Brain. Here she's actually been corrupted by Phazon, which is why the title was Corruption, as I might have shown you. Right there, Corruption, yes. So she uses the power of Phazon itself to defeat Ridley again, and then Dark Samus, and then the Mother Brain. And it was rather cool seeing the Mother Brain, because the Mother Brain was the final boss of the first game, and it was pretty cool seeing Ridley again, because he hadn't done a thing in the second game, and I think, you know, the second game used to have Ridley screaming at you. Well, all of them do. It's just a tradition. They managed to fit into one of the side-scroller games. I really would like to upload the first one, but there it is. Now, let's see about that, the featured Wikipedia article today. Oh wait, I looked it up last time, it wasn't really that worth it. But space pirates do and say the darndest things. Like, apparently, you scan some of the computer consoles and they're saying things like, you're not supposed to convert the cooling racks into gymnasiums. Anyone who does will get their rations reduced for a decacycle. Like, oh, bum. And of course, the best one, this is the one that's basically going to close this video off. Very good advice, by the way. The unauthorized feeding of the Metroids is strictly prohibited as they are not pets. Good day.